Hi, my name is Ryan and today I'll be presenting on giving to others and what does it mean to volunteer. So a short introduction about me. I'm currently in NS and I'm going to ORD in about 2 months. I have been actively volunteering since secondary school in multiple secondary school activities, and I started volunteering at Special Olympics after my O-levels, and I've been continuing throughout poly and through my NS up till now. And throughout this whole volunteering journey, I've invited my other friends as well to join me as unified partners, as volunteers in multiple different activities. And during my NS, I suffered injury in my left knee, which gave me more time to volunteer with Special Olympics, so it kind of allowed me to better balance out my time between NS and volunteering as well. So up next, we'll be sharing a short video from our grandfather story about what unified basketball is all about, what we do, how we train our athletes. And this was filmed before we went to Abu Dhabi for our World Summer Games, as this was to raise awareness to the public about what Special Olympics is all about. Please enjoy the video.
Initially, I wasn't sure who were the athletes and who weren't. My friends came before to help volunteer, and then they also said the same thing. They didn't know that they were so alike us. They expected more serious cases. I think something that's important is understand that there's a wider group of them and not just a small bunch that have like really serious issues. It's actually a very big community. My name is Ryan Pek, and my role in this team is a unified partner. What we do is, instead of normal volunteering, we are also able to play alongside the athletes and compete with them on the same team. Special Olympics is for the intellectually disabled. It's like an outreach program for them, so they are still able to learn a sport, play a sport, or compete like. On the court, we will be shouting because if not, they can't hear us. Initially, some of them took it personally as, I did something wrongly, so I'm getting scolded. As we progress, they learn lah. So at this point, they are quite okay with it already. Sometimes during training, they will get frustrated at themselves. Then sometimes they will walk off the court or they will not want to play. And then we have to slowly explain to them how, even if they are frustrated, they have to control it. Because if they walk off the court, it's not going to help the team at all. For us, we just learn as we go along. There are instances where I'm teaching them, so I'll give these set of instructions, but they don't understand. So I'll just try different ways until they get it. I find that visualization works the best. The team currently, there are 7 intellectual disability athletes alongside 3 unified partners. My job is just to get them to run the plays, get them to get to their positions and make sure everything runs smoothly. Are you naturally this? Yes. There are a lot of times that people tell me that I'm very chill. Sometimes I'm told that I'm too laid back. So I think it's just who I am. There are times it gets frustrating because sometimes they sort of don't apply even though they already know. So it gets frustrating for me because we have to keep repeating it to them, but then they are unable to do it. This is where the patience part comes into play. So sometimes I will just calm myself down first before I talk to them. We can't exactly show our frustration. Because if we show our frustration, they can also pick up on it. They won't be able to process that I'm trying to help them. They'll just take it as a scolding. I think being a unified partner is not just about teaching them basketball skills, but it's also being a role model for them and teaching them life skills. We emphasize a lot on communication on the court because it also helps them build confidence. There are people who are like us, the same. When you come across them in retail, food and beverage, that kind of things, when they do their service, they are a bit slow. So I think it's just important to be patient with them and just be polite and nice.
So this next slide will be about the Young Athletes Ribbon Day, which is how I started my Special Olympics journey through volunteering. And I've attended a total of 4 sessions. And back to the topic at hand of what it means to volunteer to me is to be able to give back to the best of my abilities without expecting anything in return. And my main motivation for joining the Young Athletes in the first place was because I enjoy working with kids. And after attending the sessions, I felt that it was very fulfilling to see the kids enjoy themselves, simply just being happy through all these activities, no matter how they did and just through participation alone. And the non-competitive environment promotes the participation among all the athletes, as they are able to enjoy themselves without worrying whether they're going to be placed first, second, third, as everyone gets a medal at the end, and it doesn't determine their placing at all. And I think this is a true definition of learning on the job. As through personal interactions with the athletes, we are able to learn how each of them better learns and how we can better engage them through these activities, and also through communicating with the parents as well, as the parents tag along and they understand their kids the best, so they are able to tell us like little tips on how we can keep the child's attention, get the child to follow us, maybe teach the child in a more effective manner. And yeah, such things like that are very important to us. And so this slide is about me joining the Special Olympics basketball. There are weekly training sessions as a unified partner. I joined it in 2016 after my O-levels, as I had some time to kill before I started my poly. And I mainly joined as I have a very strong passion for basketball, and I've been doing this since 2011. And also through all these weekly sessions, every Wednesdays for about 3 hours, we train all the athletes. And I think through all this, we got to better know them, and they also got to know us better. So we've all grown together as a family, and we bonded more through our love for the game. And I started volunteering with the mindset to build friendships with these athletes and impact their lives, both on and off the court, where I can teach them basketball skills, but also life skills where they can like hold on to it for like the rest of their lives and however they would want to apply it. And so along with other unified partners and volunteers, I feel that we've bonded very well with these athletes, and we've grown to be sort of like a Special Olympic family within the basketball community. And also, I think the athletes, through building friendships with one another, they are also able to motivate each other to come for more trainings, as they feel a responsibility to show up for their friends and their teammates and to perform well during trainings. And so these are some pictures that highlights the events and the competitions that I've taken part in as a unified partner. In the top left, you can see that this was our first unified competition, which was the unified 5v5 basketball competition back in 2017. And also in the top right and the bottom left, that will be the pictures from our Play Inclusive 3v3 in 2018. And the bottom right would also be from the 5v5, where we placed second in the end. And I feel that even though we placed second, even though we didn't get first, it doesn't matter, as the athletes, they were able to display sportsmanship to both their teammates and their opponents, as what I've noticed is that they always celebrate each other's success, no matter whether they win or they lose. As long as they see someone that they know that's achieving something that's good, they will always support each other. And so this next slide will be about Play Inclusive 2018, which is the first unified 3v3 competition that we had. So my team, after the first game, we were immediately at a disadvantage, playing a 2v3, as we initially had 4 players, and one player was unable to make it, the other one was injured during the first game. And so the organizers told us that we will either forfeit or we will have to play 2v3 for the rest of the competition, as they were unable to give us an extra substitute at the time. And so I talked to my athlete about it, and he was determined to play through the disadvantage that we had. He was okay. He wasn't worried about the end result. He just wanted to play. So that motivated me as well. And we ended up achieving second place, which I think was really good despite the challenges that we faced along the way. And my personal main takeaway is that we as unified partners and volunteers should always lead by example, as during our trainings, we always preach to the athletes that we should never give up, no matter the circumstances. And at that moment in time, the athlete that I was playing alongside definitely displayed what we have taught. And it is to never give up. And that motivated me to play on with him. And so this next slide will be about the main highlight of the unified games that we've had, which was the Abu Dhabi World Summer Games back in March of 2019. We ended up placing 4th in our division, but we were also very proud of ourselves, as we were the first among 9 other Asian teams in the competition. We definitely displayed the true definition of heart over height, as we faced many tough opponents, and they were all towering over us, as the tallest player on our team would essentially be the shortest player on their team. We faced many tough countries such as Kenya, Serbia, and Belgium, which put up a great fight against us. Each game against them went down to the wire. It was almost tight right till the end. And also, we felt it was very important throughout the whole event to keep up team morale, as the athletes were thrown into this new environment where they were unfamiliar in a new country, facing new opponents they've never seen before. And they were quite aware of the physical disadvantages that we had. And so many of them were nervous, they were shying away from how they would usually play at the start. And we had to display how we would play, how we can play on the court. And I think through watching us play and through seeing how they were able to succeed during the games, it kind of pushed them and motivated them to play better. And so during the competition, we faced multiple team injuries, from small minor injuries to severe injuries, whereby we had 2 players that were out and couldn't play at all. So I think this kind of affected us as a team at the start, but we still had to hold it together and keep the team morale up so we could finish the last few games, the finals and the semis. And I think personally, as a teammate, as a unified partner, I'm very proud to see my team fight to the final buzzer, even though we placed 4th, but we still did very, very well. And it was overall a very enjoyable trip, as they were very good hosts and they brought us around their country, show us different tourist attractions. And we also had multiple team bonding sessions, such as in the gym, or when the World Games were done, we played some netball with the other Singapore athletes from the other sports as well. And I think this is a good way for us to interact with both the other volunteers as well as the other athletes. And personally, as a volunteer, I feel like I've learned a lot through interacting with the other volunteers and coaches, as they could show us the different ways and concepts that they were able to carry out their trainings that we could perhaps apply into basketball. And also, we'll have a highlight video that's available in the resource tab for you guys to watch after this presentation. And so this is my final slide about the motor activity training program, which is a separate volunteer event that I took part in during my internship, whereby we had to take up an event planning role. So I contacted Special Olympics and asked if they had any activities for us to plan, and so we could work with them, so we could experience what it was like to plan a Special Olympics event and also volunteer at the same time. So I feel that the overall activity went smoothly, everything went well, even though we faced challenges during the planning stage, whereby we had to tailor all the activities to suit all the athletes, as they really had very varying levels of disabilities, and it had to be an activity whereby everyone could do it, no matter what kind of disabilities they faced. And I think overall, all the volunteers were very patient, as to most of us, this was a very new environment, as we worked with very different athletes during our previous volunteer sessions. But I think through working with them, we learn a lot, and we probably will be better prepared if we do volunteer again for this activity in the future. And as there's a picture on the right from the Special Olympics basketball trainings, whereby I invited my friends to join. And this was the first session that they came, and they thoroughly enjoyed themselves, as they came for subsequent training sessions after that. And even after those trainings, the athletes will ask me whether my friends will be coming back. And I still have conversations with my friends, whereby they say when they have time, they will want to come back and continue volunteering with us. Yeah, so that takes me to the end of my presentation. And I would just like to sum up that given the chance to be a unified partner again, I would definitely do it. Especially if I knew about it earlier, I'll probably do it during my secondary school days and not just after, as I had a lack of awareness of what Special Olympics was, what unified volunteering was. And I think everyone can do it, as it doesn't have to be, you don't have to be good at the sport, you don't have to be familiar with the sport, which of course would come with its perks if you were, but even if you were new, you could learn as you went along with volunteering. And you can also learn from the athletes as well, which I am still currently doing at this time, even though I teach them as well. It's sort of like a give and take. And I feel that inclusive sports gives us a deeper level of communication between both the volunteer and the athlete, as we can better understand the challenges that they face on the court, as we are able to witness it firsthand, side by side them, and we'll probably be able to better address it and better teach them, and not just watching from the sideline, which sometimes can be very, very different. So yeah, that takes me to the end of my presentation. Thank you.